Hey, Coach, my name is John Wheeler. So today we're going to switch it up a little bit. We've been talking offense for the last year and a half, and I have not had any time to really go deep into any kind of anything on the defensive end of the ball. So that's exactly what I've been putting together. I'm actually in the process right now of building my next course. It's not going to be. Some of you might be familiar with the Princeton stuff that we've been doing. We've been doing this huge 3-day events where we've taught for free for 6-8 hours at a time. We've done it probably 5 or 6 times the last year and a half, and then we get this really huge, really deep, really nice coaching program for Princeton offense coaches. But I wanted to switch it up a little bit and start talking about some defensive stuff. Also to kind of prove to some of those coaches that, yeah, I coach defense too, and we don't want to get pegged just for one thing. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about the next steps and what I'm working on right now. So what I'm putting together is a man-to-man offense, man-to-man defense coaching package, and haven't got all the detail. I don't have all of the details ironed out yet, but we are actually going to launch the first module tomorrow. And what's this going to look like? This is going to be a 5-module course, and because I am just now in the beginning stages of building it, it's not a complete thing. It's not all done. Week 1 is actually done, but the rest of the weeks are, or module 1 is done, but I'm still putting together recording module 2, 3, 4, and 5. And because I'm still building this, I'm going to offer it to you. It's not going to be free, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be very expensive or anything like that at all. If you get in as we do this throughout the next 5 weeks. So let me kind of go through and talk about what we're going to be talking about inside this defensive coaching program. So we're going to be talking about everything man-to-man defense, pack line, pressure, and everything in between. And we're going to do it module by module, section by section, the way that I would actually have in my mind how I'm going to be ready to teach the defense and actually the progressions that I put the defense in. If you know anything about me, if you watch any of the stuff that I've done, I'm very detail oriented, hence Hoops in Detail, the name of the name of the Facebook group and the programs that we put through. And I'm also progression oriented. I don't teach much whole part whole anymore. I'm almost kind of left that philosophy and that strategy in the past. And I've kind of embraced this progression method that I discovered when I was learning the Princeton offense. So throughout my career, I started coaching about 20 years ago. Just after I graduated high school, I pretty much jumped right into coaching. So I've been doing this a long time. And one of the biggest problems that I have always had on the defense side of the ball is I was never clear on how I wanted to guard the post. And once I became clear on how I wanted to guard the post, things really started to get easy for us, what we wanted to do defensively. And then I was more flexible on what I wanted to do. And it was actually much more effective with what we're doing. So there's going to be 5 modules, and I'll tell you how I'm going to release those here in a few minutes. But I want to kind of go through them real quick and tell you what they're going to be about. So module 1, in my mind, is probably the most important. Where you need to be clear first is how are you going to guard the low post. Okay, your low post defense and your wing defense are probably two of the. You have to start there before you decide, where's your help side going to be, how are you going to guard the ball and all of that. Reason is because there's 4 different ways to guard the post, and depending on which way you decide to guard the post is going to dictate how you're going to guard the wing, what you're going to force, what you're going to allow, what you're not going to allow. And then where is the help going to come from? Is the help, on the midline? Is the help over here? Is the help staggered? Okay, all kind of depends on where you're going to guard, or how you're going to guard the post. And it's something that I was always unsure of throughout the first 8-9 years of my coaching career. And then once I figured this out, it actually gave me clarity on how I want to guard the wing and how I want to run my pressure man-to-man or my pack line man-to-man, because I've done both. And it actually even gave me clarity once we started running a matchup zone, which we'll talk about as well. So in module 1, we're going to be talking about everything post defense, wing defense, and setting up the foundation of our offense. Module 2 is going to be everything on the shell defense and scramble D. Now, our shell defense is basically, when you think of shell, you think of 3-on-3 shell, 4-on-4 shell. And that's basically what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to talk about how we're going to help in different situations. So if we're guarding the post one of these 4 ways, the help is going to look different every single time. So we're going to talk about that, break that down. Where's the help going to come from? And then once you do get in a situation where the offense forces you into a helping situation, where another player has to leave their man and come help. Now, when they pass it back out or skip it or reverse it, how do we scramble out of that in an organized way? I call it the organized scramble. So it's not, it might not be your true scramble defense, but it's how we scramble out back into, because most of the time you're not going to be guarding the same guy that you started guarding with on a driving situation. Module number 3 is going to be everything on ball. So every kind of ball screen. And there are 5 big tactics and strategies of how I like to guard ball screens. We don't teach all 5 to our players, but you have to be aware of all 5. Now, initially, we'll teach 1, 2, maybe 3 ways in the very beginning of the year, now depending on where you are in the season, so that we have our 3 core ways that we're going to guard it. And then what's going to happen is you're going to run into a team that has personnel that maybe a kid can pop, can screen and pop. Maybe your 5-man's going to screen and pop instead of screen and slip and roll to the basket. So we need to come up with different ways to guard it. So there's 5 core ways that I like to guard ball screens. And that's what we're going to talk about module 3. And then we're going to talk about how do we help on all of those ball screens. How do we help and recover and still not give up easy threes or easy rolls to the basket. And that's going to change depending on where the ball screen's set. If the ball screen's on the wings, if the ball screen's on the top of the key, or if the ball screen's out here in the perimeter, we're going to adjust how we guard all of those ball screens. And we're going to do it in a way that's going to simplify it. So if you're running a pack line style defense where you need to control the tempo and slow the game down, keep them away from the basket, or you're going to guard ball screens differently if you want to pressure and deny. Okay, and there's a lot of stuff in between, and that's what we're going to be talking about module 3. Module 4 is going to be all of the off-ball screens. It's going to be the off-ball screen defense. So how do we guard cross screens, down screens, back screen, flare screens, drift screens? How do we guard all of those screens? And how do we guard them simultaneously? Because some offenses will run a down screen here and a flare screen here, or a back screen here and a cross screen over here, or your screen on screens, your SOSs. So we're going to be talking about how to negotiate all of those screens. Again, guard on guard screens, guard on big screens. It's going to be a pretty in-depth topic about how we guard off-ball screens, because there's so many different situations, and we'll cover as many of them as that we can think of or that we can in Module 4. Module 5 is going to be it's probably the biggest module. It's where we're going to put everything together. So Module 5 is all going to be about advanced game planning. So what I like to do is, in the beginning of the year, is I put our foundation in. I put our man-to-man foundation in so that we have our core stuff, so we know how we're going to guard everything fundamentally. And this is our identity. This is who we are defensively. I have this strong belief that the defensive side of the ball is your identity. That's who you are. Offensive side, that's your brand. That's what everyone sees you as. Okay, but internally, that's what we are on the defensive side of the ball. But how do you guard 4-round 1 motion offenses? How do you guard 3-round 2 motion offenses that look to high-low or look to overload or look to ball screen out of that and twist and roll? And we're also going to talk about how do you guard system offenses like a Princeton, like a read and react, like a dribble drive, like a flex offense. How do you guard all of those? So we're going to talk a little bit about how to guard, or how we would approach guarding each one of those offenses. And then we're also got a couple of really cool bonuses. Bonus number 1 in Module 5 is going to be the blitz and trap. How do we trap? Blitz up, blitz down. And how do we trap if we want to speed them up? We need to turn them over. If we're down 3, 4, 5, 8 points with 4 or 5 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, how do we get the ball back? And then how do we scramble out of that in the half court? That's what we're going to talk about in that bonus. And then we're going to do one more bonus, and this is going to be how we install the matchup zone. And I personally, especially at the high school level, I would never teach the matchup zone first without having a solid man-to-man philosophy and foundation. Because what happens is, the way that I run the matchup zone is the way most Princeton teams run it, is I actually base all of our fundamentals in the matchup go back to exactly the same fundamentals. If we don't have good man-to-man fundamentals, we're not going to have good matchup zone fundamentals, is the way that I personally feel about that. So now that we've gotten our good foundation through the first 4 modules, now we're gonna throw in this. This is now, if you're interested in the matchup zone, we're gonna go deep in detail about how to run it, how to install it in practice, which is probably one of the is where most coaches get hung up with the matchup zone. So there it is. So module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm really kind of excited to do this because I haven't been teaching anything defense. It's been all offense lately. And how are we going to roll this out? Now, like I said, I'm going to do it every Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to do a free training. It's going to be short, 5, 10, 15 minutes on each one of those topics. And then every Wednesday, so if you have any questions about it, about the topic that we're going to be talking about, you can leave it. We can have those conversations in the comments on YouTube, on Facebook, where we post the videos. And then every Wednesday, I will send you an email, and I will send you a link to where you can get that module. So module 1 is going to drop tomorrow, some point in time, either tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening. Module 1 is going to drop, and it's not going to be free, but it's going to be very very affordable, because what I'm doing is I'm putting this new course together. This whole module 5 course is going to end up being each module is going to be at least 2 hours long, maybe longer. Especially week 5 is going to have a lot of content. Week 5, a lot of teaching, a lot of X's and O's. Each module is also going to come with its own individual playbook, where actually those playbooks will eventually, by the time you get through week 5, those playbooks are it's going to be a really big defensive playbook, maybe 20, 30, 40 pages of defensive stuff, maybe more. I've got module 1 done, but I haven't got them all built for the next 4. So you're going to get a playbook, you're going to get drill work, you're going to get breakdowns, you're going to get practice plans with each individual module. So the post defense is going to have its own playbook, its own drills, its own breakdowns, and then its own practice plan. All of that's going to kind of be combined together in a couple different PDFs. So it's not going to be free, but it's going to be probably about the same price as you would go, or actually it would certainly be less for dinner at 2 at McDonald's or Wendy's or something like that. So and then once we're all done with these 5 modules, it's going to take 5 weeks to roll them out, because again, I don't have them all done. I only have the first one done. Once they are all rolled out and packaged up, we're going to close it down. And then it's going to be a new course that we're going to market. And if you were to get all 5 within this first 5 weeks as we roll them out, it's ended up going to be like about 70% off of what the final product's going to be, because it's going to be more than 12 to 15 hours of content, maybe 50 pages of playbook material, maybe about maybe 10, 20, 30 pages of, I would say 10 to 15 playbooks. Then you're going to have a whole bunch of drills and breakdowns of how we would actually teach, footwork and stuff like that. We'll break that down in those PDFs as well. So it's going to be a lot of content. Again, my whole thing is over delivering, giving as much value as I possibly can. And tomorrow, when you see the first post, it'll let you know how much it's going to be, and it's going to be the same for each module. Is going to be the exact same price. And then once we're done with module 5, once module 5 is out, and we'll close it down that following Sunday. Then we're going to close the entire thing down, and then the price of the course is going to jump about 70%. So and the reason that I'm letting it go for this little right now is because it's not done yet, and I want your feedback, because once I get your feedback as well, I'll make adjustments to what we're teaching, and I'll answer questions that you guys have as well. So that's the gist. That's what we're doing. It's going to be really cool, really fun. The trainings are not going to be live this time. They are going to be pre-recorded, and are going to be put in a really cool members area, which I will show you tomorrow, or I'll show you every Wednesday that we drop the module. I will show you exactly what it's going to look like, where to go, how to log in, all of that good stuff. It's going to be real easy and real organized, real nice and neat, and everything will be available for download immediately. So as soon as you get it, you're going to have the videos, and then you can start following along in training. So who is this for? This is great for youth coaches, middle school coaches, high school coaches, and any level that you're coaching. This is certainly good for. Most of my background is going to come from the varsity high school level, boys or girls, but this is definitely not too advanced that you're not going to learn what you can do with your youth teams or your middle school teams. Okay, so if you're coaching at any level, I think this is something that will definitely be good for your program. So and it's going to be a deal for the next 5 weeks, for the next 5 modules. Everything out there is going to be a deal or a steal even. And once the 5 weeks are done, we're going to close it down. I'm going to package it up, and then price is going to raise just because it's going to be such a big program, and then it's going to be done. So I'm excited to get going on this. I'm excited for you guys to see the first module tomorrow. Again, it'll probably either drop tomorrow morning, lunchtime, maybe around lunchtime tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is when I'll drop it Eastern time. So just kind of watch Facebook, watch your emails. I will tell you how to sign up and register for it, where to go to get it, and then you'll get all of the details. Then it'll be real nice and easy. So, all right, Coach, I got to get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the court.